What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Counterpunch breakdown. UFC 313 this Saturday. Pereira versus Ankalaev, going to be a banger main event. If you're new to these, my name is Lucas. His name is Rohan. Last week, UFC Vegas 103. It was a pretty shit card, but here we are back with a fucking bang pay-per-view. It's going to be a lot of fun. Rohan, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I cannot wait for this card, man. It's going to be, I think it could be historic. I mean, every Alex Pereira card has historic potential, but man, this weekend is going to be crazy. Justin Gaethje and Rafael Fiziev, the rematch on short notice. I can't wait for that, bro. Oh, man, it's going to be a crazy, crazy card, bro. How about you? How you doing, man?
I'm good. Looking forward to it. I'm going to be there, which is going to be absolutely sick. I haven't been to Vegas in, like 8 years, so it's going to be cool. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this card. I have a lot of money on this card. A lot of it.
A lot of nice spots sticking out already. I can see a lot of violence on this card. I can see a lot of upsets, maybe even. Man, it's gonna be fun, man. Can't wait.
Yeah. Not much to say, man. There's nothing to really recap about the last card. So
yeah, not really.
Let's hop into this motherfucker.
Yeah.
Let's hop into it. Gonna share my screen and we'll start with the first fight of the night. Here we go. UFC 313 starts with Ozzy Diaz, Jordan Santos. I like Santos here. I think Ozzy Diaz just isn't UFC caliber. Came on the contender series, got fucking viciously knocked out by Joe Pyfer. Obviously, no shame in that, but looked like shit, got knocked out. Went on the contender series, won some fights. Yeah, good job. And then gets finished by Ming Yang Zhang. Brutally. Now he's taking on Jordan Santos. It's a step down. A lot of people are super high on Ming Yang Zhang, but like at the same time, who has he beat? He really hasn't beaten anybody since coming into the UFC. Got sparked in that fight. Now he's taking on Jordan Santos. Had that fight in a contender series in which he looked really good. Like I remember before that, I was watching some of his tape on the regional scene. He looked nothing like that fighter. That he's on the contender series and goes out there, stuffs takedowns, and his boxing looks really crisp. Got a good chin. I think this guy's a good fighter. I like him to win. I probably think he should be a bigger favorite than -180. And give me Jordan Santos first fight on the card.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you. Watching the tape on Ozzy Diaz, I mean, I think the one thing that sticks out with him is he's so heavy on his front foot, and he's just one of those bigger heavyweights that the striking doesn't really look like it comes naturally to him. He's very heavy on his front foot, loading up a lot of the time. He's low volume though, and then he stays in the center of the cage, but it's not like he's throwing a lot to keep his opponent at bay. So I think the aggressor here is going to be Jordan Santos. And I mean, look, I couldn't honestly, other than the contender series fight, I didn't see a lot of tape on him available on YouTube when I was looking. But I mean, judging just off that one fight alone, you can tell that, I mean, he's more put together on the feet. The head movement is better. The footwork is better. And I just think he has more ways to win this fight on the feet. I think more tools in the bag. And Ozzy Diaz he really didn't impress me at all when I was going over his tape. So I'm pretty confident in this one as well. I would agree with you. I think we might see the line get a little bit bigger as the week goes on. So yeah, I think Jordan Santos he should win this fight. He should win this fight.
Yeah, I just don't think that that Ozzy is UFC caliber, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, but he didn't look like terrible in the Pyfer fight, and it was like a lot of things that I saw in that I was like, oh, you can clean this up, because I mean the sequence he got knocked out, he was lunging in, like he was doing fine on the outside, but then when he would get a little too ahead of himself and then get himself into trouble, then obviously you're going to get caught against somebody like Pyfer. But that's the same thing with Diaz or Santos, excuse me. I think he can do that to him as well. So yeah, in those heavy divisions, you can't really take chances like that and not have your hands up, because you're going to pay for it. So yeah, I would agree there. Yeah, this is pretty easy for me.
I also saw something that he was like contemplating retirement after that fight, I think. So
okay.
Yeah. I like Santos. I think possibly on steroids, maybe. First of all, let me say this. If you think this is a fucking 27-year-old,
bro, they always lying about the age, man. He looks like 35 at least. That's crazy.
Yeah. We like Santos here, big time. Let's move on. Next fight on the card: Chris Gutierrez versus John Castaneda. Yeah, I've got a lot of, as I said at the top, I've got a lot of confident picks here. This is another one. I like John Castaneda to get it done. I'll tell you why. Chris Gutierrez taking this fight on very, very short notice. Was supposed to fight March 8th, which was he was supposed to fight on this card against Matsumoto. Matsumoto gets rebooked. Both these fighters were training for a fight around this time. Castaneda was supposed to fight last week against Douglas Silva de Andrade, got canceled. I think Chris Gutierrez is one of the most overrated fighters in the UFC, to be honest. I mean, just because he had a 5-round main event versus Song Yadong doesn't mean you're great. Just because he had a close fight with Pedro Munoz does not mean you're great. A lot of people have close fights with Pedro Munoz. Ayman Zahabi just beat Pedro Munoz. Who is Chris Gutierrez really beat? I mean, he beat Quang Lee in like a close fight. And that guy's not that good. Straight off road to the UFC. Beat Alateng Lee. Not that impressive to me. Beat Frankie Edgar, who was like a corpse at that point. I mean, this guy's just done nothing to really show that he should be like how I just don't get the line here. Like this doesn't say it here, but it's a pick 'em. And Castaneda is actually out there beating solid fighters, like beat Kang Ho Kang. I think that guy's pretty good. Beat Muin Gaffarov, coming off a great performance against Nakamura. Submitted Miles Johns. It's a feather in his cap as well. I think that Gutierrez, obviously the much better kicker, much better with his distance. As soon as Castaneda gets inside, I think he has better boxing. And if he can mix up the wrestling as well, Castaneda, very high fight IQ. I think he'll be able to mix the martial arts well here and win a decision. I do think this one goes the distance. And I like Castaneda to get it done. What do you got?
Yeah, this one, I mean, I can see exactly where you're coming from with the line. And it's a weird one because, I mean, it's put together on short notice. Both of these guys were training for completely different opponents. Wait, who did Castaneda? Douglas da Silva on Josh. I mean, 36 years old, completely different style than Gutierrez, but at the same time, Gutierrez training for John Matsumoto. And I think that's where, okay, so look, when I'm watching the tape, John Castaneda, obviously, we kind of know where he is. Pretty compact, powerful fighter. Like he's short, stocky, but he hits very hard. And he does his best work in close, as expected. I mean, he likes close distance exchanges where he can land those short punches. I didn't like what I saw out of John Castaneda in that Daniel Marcos fight. I just thought, obviously, close decision, maybe could have given it to him, but I thought it was pretty clear for Santos on rewatch. And he kept him at distance.
Wait, what? Didn't he get knocked out by
Marcos
Santos?
or
Sorry.
My bad. I always mix up the names. Daniel Marcos.
Yeah.
He kept him at range and he used the kicks. That was the thing. Like he was kicking him a lot. And John Castaneda, in every fight that I've seen of his, even going back and watching some of the old ones, he doesn't check kicks at all. I mean, I get that his grappling and his wrestling is probably going to be a factor in this fight if he decides to use it. But I think, Gutierrez was already training for Matsumoto, who kind of fits that same archetype of a stocky guy, hits hard, can mix in some of the wrestling, but, would prefer to stay in the phone booth and strike. And I think Gutierrez was, training for that. And I mean, you kind of mentioned a lot of the guys he's fought, but I think there's something to be said about the fact that he's fought the much better competition thus far. I mean, Song Yadong and not getting finished by Song Yadong, he did get his ass whooped, but still. The Kang Lee fight, obviously not that impressive, but I think the Pedro Munoz fight, just at least he held himself good account of himself in that one. I think he's had some solid performances in his UFC career, enough to suggest that he knows what he's doing and he knows the right approach. And I just don't think that John Castaneda has too much of a unpredictable style. I think it's pretty straightforward. And if you have the right style to combat that, which Marcos absolutely did, I think you can win. So I'm going to pick Gutierrez by decision, but I could see exactly where you're coming from because at the same time, Castaneda has the power advantage and the wrestling advantage. So we'll see, but I'm on the other side.
Well, I think Gutierrez would have gotten his ass beat by Matsumoto if that fight was to have happened. And here's the thing: the difference.
He hasn't gotten finished. I mean, since when?
What?
When's the last time he got finished by Raoni Barcelos in 2018? I don't think he would have ran through him.
I think he would have smoked him. Matsumoto's really, really good. He just got, took that fight against Font, short notice, different matchup, and still arguably won the fight. That's Rob Font. I think that I disagree with a lot of what you're saying because you compared it to that Marcos fight, and I think that Marcos is a much better fighter than Gutierrez. I think he's harder to grab a hold of and harder to take down. Marcos is all over the place. I mean, that guy is just so light on his feet, and he's just a hard guy to track down. Gutierrez, a similar fighter, just older. in a tiny bit slower. And I hear what you're saying, but we both agree this one goes the distance. But I think Castaneda will mix it up and sneak out a 29-28 most likely. Let's move on. Next fight, Myron Santos versus Francis Marshall. You know, do I want to take a big dog here at Marshall? First of all, I really like Myron Santos. I mean, from the Ultimate Fighter, this guy's really, really, really crisp striker. Also, his incredible takedown defense. I mean, defended some takedowns. Oh, you can't see it here because there were exhibitions. I'll go over here. Defended some takedowns against Edwin Cooper, whose his striking was abysmal, but he's a great wrestler. He defended those takedowns. Beat the shit out of Guillermo Torres, and then knocked out Counterpunch. Here's the thing, though. I think this guy's really good, but it's just he hasn't beaten anybody yet. I thought Counterpunch was really good. He went out there in that fight. I bet on Counterpunch, and Counterpunch just shat the bed. Like, he looked good on tough Counterpunch. And then he just shits the bed when he gets into the UFC. Now he's on a 2L streak. Looked horrible in that Santos fight. So I just don't know. Like, is Myron that good that he's making these guys fight like shit? Or is he just fighting shitty competition? You think about Francis Marshall. His hands are getting better. And yes, Santos stuffed the takedowns against Cooper, was a fantastic wrestler. But I don't know. Marshall was, he's fought some really good fighters. Yes, he got fucking demolished by Bulgarian. Okay. Went to split with Gomes. Went to split with Bazooka. Won the first 2 rounds. Lost the 3rd round. I thought he clearly won that fight. I don't really understand a split there. This fight, I think this guy's only getting better. He's 25. He's fought the better competition. But Santos, there's a chance that this guy is like actually elite. I just don't know. How good is this guy, Myron Santos? I don't know. I think this line's wide. But I do think all the finishing potential here is on the Santos side. Like, I think if Santos wins, it's probably a knockout, or he wins like a 29-28. But I feel like if this one hits the card, it's going to be very, very close, and this line's not going to look like what it is. So I don't know. I guess I'll pick Santos. Values all on Marshall here, considering he's 25 and he's fought all this competition. But I think there's a chance if Santos knocks this dude out, Santos is fucking legit. Like, he was super impressive on his tough run.
Yeah. I think Francis Marshall, he's definitely improving. He's looking better, as he gets more experience in the UFC. Win over Dennis Bazooka. Yeah, it went to split. That's a solid win, though. He trains out of a good camp, But Myron Santos, like, he's very, very skilled, and he can fight. I love fighters that can, he has a great kicking game, number one. His kicks are incredible, and he's just dangerous going forward and backwards. That's what I love. And the thing that I don't really love about Marshall too much is, like, I love his work rate. He's an active guy. He throws a lot. Not the most technical. His nickname is Fire, right? So, like, he loves, just a war. So that's just his nature. But like you said, he's had some good fight. He took Gomes to a split decision, and that's aged beautifully. And he's getting better. You can see on the stand-up. But the thing I don't love is a lot of the times when he's going inside and when he's looking to be the aggressor, he's coming in with his hands low. And you just don't want to do that against somebody like Santos, who can definitely find your chin. And whether that's with him on the attack or him, moving backwards. And I think there could be a lot of scenarios where Marshall's looking to capitalize on a scenario where he sees an opening for a takedown, and then out of nowhere comes a knee, or out of nowhere comes a short hook that catches him and wobbles him. I just think there's a lot of potential for that to happen. So I think the safe pick is Santos. And like you said, I mean, if you're picking him to win this fight confidently, you think he's going to finish the fight, and that's where I'm at, because I think, if Marshall gets the ground game going and he can, do some work on the feet to keep it close, then this could definitely be a close decision. But I just think too many openings on the feet, and Santos is really technical. He's a pretty technical guy on the feet. I think he can definitely find the opening. So I'm going to pick him.
Yeah, all I know is that this is going to be Santos's toughest test of his career, most likely.
For sure. But Counterpunch, like, the thing about him in that sequence when he got knocked out, it was the same thing. Like, you saw the power on the back foot. Like, I think we can definitely see a repeat of that, because the way Marshall fights, he brings it out of you,
But Counterpunch looks so bad in that fight. I mean, he looked awful.
He did.
And I had big money on him because he looked good on this tough run. Like, this guy's got good boxing. Seems like he could take a punch. Incredible jiu-jitsu. I remember he had a big-time guillotine in like his first fight. I thought he was legit, but no, I was wrong. Santos might be legit. I don't know. I might bet Marshall. I might, but I'll pick Santos. I think it's a closer fight than this line says. I mean, what is it now? It says here Santos minus 375. He is coming down a little bit, minus 310. Okay. All right. Next one. What do we got? Alex. Oh my God. Alex Morono. Carlos Leal. This is a very funny fight. Before we get into it, though, we have comments that I just noticed. We got my boy Combat in the chat, my boy Benny in the chat, and then FBA saying, "What up, boys? What up, FBA? Hope you're doing well." This is just an absolute joke of a fight. I'll just say it right now. I parlayed Leal at like minus 500 with something next week for next week's card for a max bet, mega max. I hammered it. And now he's up to minus 800. So I can tell you guys that at that point, I don't think there's value. Just Morono sucks ass. I mean, lost to Rodriguez. That Nico Price fight, just the worst he's ever looked. Looked awful. Beat Court McGee. Very, very close fight. I guess he might have could have lost. Lost about good. No shame in that. Sub to me into the fight he was losing with the guillotine. I mean, I feel like that's his path to victory. Leal's gonna beat Morono to shit. But if Morono wins, it's him pulling off that guillotine. I like the under here, under 2.5. Fight doesn't go. Yeah, I think Leal probably finishes this fight. Rohan, every time we talk about Leal, first of all, Rohan.
I know where you're
going. Two things I want to talk about. One, he's on so many steroids. Like, do we see the fucking acne on this guy? It's on his face. It's on his back. This guy is juiced to the max. But that last fucking fight, plus 285, I think I got on Leal against Fakardinov, one of my best snipes in gambling history.
And that's Fakardinov, too.
It should have been a 30-27 Carlos Leal, and they robbed him because the fight's in fucking Abu Dhabi. I wanted to off myself. That was so upsetting. That sucked. But, you know, they're giving him a good bounce back spot here. Should run through Morono. I hope he doesn't shoot. If he just keeps it on the feet, he'll run through him. If he shoots, Morono has a chance to catch him with a guillotine armbar, which is why I like the under. At this point, I don't know if you can parlay Leal. What is there even to parlay it with? I don't know. On this card, at least. I like Leal to finish this fight. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't pick Alex Morono to win a fight in 2025. We just can't do it. It's not allowed.
Not wrong.
You're banned from doing it. But I mean, yeah, he's just looked so bad in all of his losses. It's not even like, I don't know, man. He just looks so bad. Even in the wins, he hasn't really looked. The win over Court McGee, he's another fucking 40-year-old. No offense, man, but like these guys are just, they're not, when it gets to a point where, you know, there's a certain class of fighters that they can hang around with. It's like Matt Brown a couple of years ago. When he was still there, you know, like just hanging around fighting guys like Court McGee and Tim Means, like they all fight each other, and he's in that tier. But Carlos Leal, like you said, he should have won that fight. It's insane that they robbed him. I was on him too. You know, we were there together. Just shocked. Just
that was the worst. Like, oh my God.
But it doesn't make sense, man. But they have to, like, after something like that. But it happens so many times. I'm kind of numb at this point. But yeah, he looked good. He looked good in that fight. And that's Renat Fakardinov, who's just at this stage. Sorry if I keep looking over. I'm watching Champions League, Barcelona. Anyways, I just think that this is the fight where Leal, it's a huge step down. In my opinion, it's a big step down from Fakardinov to Morono. Just judging off of how he looked against Fakardinov, he should be able to finish Alex Morono here. Just the better work on the feet, a lot more volume, a lot more power. And just the more skilled guy on the feet at this stage, because, you know, Morono, like you said, maybe he has the off chance to catch him in some sort of submission, but it just sometimes it looks like he doesn't even want to be in there. And that's the problem with him. You can never pick somebody who has that sort of attitude and that mentality. He's a coach too. Like he's moved on in life. He's coaching guys now. Like, come on, he's just here for the check. So I'm going to pick Leal with a lot of confidence here.
Yeah, nothing else to be said. It's fucking Alex Morono in 2025, as you said. That's it. That's all I got to say about that one. Let's move on. Next one. Another confident pick. Pereira, Petrosian. I like Petrosian here big time. I thought Pereira looked fucking horrible in that fight against Abus Magomedov. Like, Abus was like gassed the fuck out. And he was just still able to take down Pereira and then subs him. This dude's just not good, in my opinion. I mean, he beat Stolfsus spinning elbow and then was just like a what the fuck fight. Caught him with a spinning elbow, although he got hurt multiple times by Stolfsus. That was a fun fucking fight, but he died. Stolfsus did. KO'd Phil Hawes, as he should. Phil Hawes is zero chin. Got finished by Ruzabov, I guess. meme knockout against Rodriguez. Like, what the fuck is this guy's career? I think this is a big bounce back spot for Petrosian, who's fought great competition. I mean, he got subbed by Vieira. I mean, that was a horrible, horrible mismatch. Took him down, subbed him. That's an incredible wrestler jiu-jitsu or incredible jiu-jitsu guy, one of the best in the UFC versus a guy who's kind of a fish out of water on the ground at Petrosian. Got subbed. Then he faces Shar Magomedov, who's like one of the only fighters that's a better striker than him in his division. This guy beat Christian Leroy Duncan. This guy, AJ Dobson, whatever. This guy arguably beat not Kyle Barayo, but arguably beat Gregory Rodriguez a few years ago. Or did he? I think they gave him the nod in that one. Or I just remember it was an insanely close fight. Yeah, he did win. He won a split decision. It was a very, very close fight. I think this guy's really good, and he's just had some tough matchups in his losses. I think he beats Pereira. I think Ferreira's a fucking mess. His only hope here is to catch him. That's why I like Petrosian money line, but just in case he gets caught, the under as well. Give me Petrosian. I think just going to beat the shit out of him. He's also got a 5-inch height advantage. Will Ferreira be able to catch him? I know he caught Rodriguez, who was massive, but I don't think he's able to do that again. Yes, fucking Petrosian got knocked out by some weird-ass shit by Shar Magomedov, but, that's different. Magomedov is so creative. Ferreira just going to go out there throwing bombs. I think Petrosian's skilled enough of a striker to keep his range, pick Ferreira apart, maybe get a finish. I don't know. My safety net's the under here. I like Petrosian big time here, money line. Don't get the line. Feel like you should be like minus 300.
Yeah, I'm glad we're on the same page here because I feel like I've seen a lot of people on Twitter like talking about Bruno Ferreira as a nice underdog this weekend, but no. I mean, look, like you said, he's beating guys that all have chin issues. Except Gregory Rodriguez. That was a perfect shot that he landed against Gregory Rodriguez. Anybody gets knocked out by that. But I mean, losing badly in the first round to Nursultan Ruzabov, I mean, that's not a great look. And then losing to a boost like that, that's not a great look. Phil Hawes, you knocked out Phil Hawes. Like, I could knock out Phil Hawes if I hit him on the chin, bro. His chin is the worst in the UFC. And then Dustin Stoltzfus, I mean, yeah, there's no weight in that one at all. So I just think you said it perfectly. Petrosian, he's faced a lot harder competition, a lot tougher competition. And he's looked better. I mean, he looked good against Christian Leroy Duncan, who is somebody that, we hold in high regard on the feet, at least. He's a really good striker, and he outstruck him for, 3 rounds. AJ Dobson, that's a tough, no, not really. But hung around there with Kyle Barayo, good look. A split decision win over Gregory Rodriguez, good look. And then, the tough matchup against Vieira. He's a wrestler's wrestler, grappler's grappler. Like, you're going to get taken down by him, and there's no surprise that he subbed him in a round. And then Shara pulled some shit out of, I don't know where. We've never seen anything like that before, but it was a high-level fight, and he actually looked good in the first round, Petrosian, if you remember. So I just think there's minimal reasons to pick against him. I mean, unless you're so concerned about his chin, that's the only reason, because Pereira is capable of pulling one of those insane knockouts out. But I can't see that here. I think Petrosian's too safe on the feet. He's too skilled. And then offensively, he has just way more to offer than Bruno Ferreira. So, yeah, I agree with you about the line as well. I think he should be a bigger favorite, but I am on Armin Petrosian as well.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better right there. Let's move on. Next one. How many fights we got left? 1, 2, 7 fights. Cool.
Oh, no, we got 2 more.
What'd you say?
Nah, I'm saying no. We got like 2 more before the main card, because King and Hoofy open the main card, right?
Bro. Stop! Fucking stop calling him King, bro. Stop.
Oh, well, I'm just reading. Apology.
Bobby Green. He's not a fucking king. No.
Yeah, King Green, bro. It's like Meta World Peace when he changed his name. Meta World Peace. You just gotta call it.
Hey, you're not calling Meta World Peace a fucking king.
No, but he didn't change his name.
I'll still call him Ron Artest. I don't give a fuck. All right, yeah. Next one, Ray Saruya versus Joshua Van. I see a lot of people on Twitter taking the dog and Saruya, but for some reason the Van line keeps going up. I got a pretty good amount of money on Van here. I think he gets it done. This guy's only growing in confidence. He's really fucking good. He's 23 and he's fought, insane competition in the UFC. He fought Durden his last fight, beat the shit out of him, fought Chairez in a fucking war in the sphere. One of the most underrated fights of 2024. People just forget about that one. That was a fucking banger. Got knocked out by Charles Johnson. I think he took that fight on short notice. I'm not, super young guy, man. He learns. Finished Felipe Bunes. Looked great there. Looked great against Borges. This guy is just really good. Here's the thing. Saruya may be able to get him down once or twice. He's going to look for subs instantly. But Van's got really good takedown defense. In Saruya, he's got wrestling, he's got jiu-jitsu, but he's still just, I feel like his body is a little too young, man. I just don't feel like he's strong enough to be able to consistently wrestle Van. I feel like it's probably going to hit the cards, and I feel like it's going to be damage over control all day, every day. Saruya's going to be holding him on against the fence a lot of this fight, in my opinion. I just think Van's going to be too thick here, too thick. He's got massive legs as well. I remember in his debut against Jalgas Jumagulov, I mean, man, his takedown defense looked incredible. You got to think he's been fucking training that shit. Yeah, I like Van here. I think he stuffs the takedowns and gets this one done. What do you got?
Yeah, Van.
I'm gonna go grab food real quick. I'll be right back.
Yeah. When Van started out in the UFC, he had literally no wrestling or grappling experience. That was one of the things he actually came out and said publicly. It was like, I've never trained grappling or wrestling before, but he was still doing good and winning fights because he was that good on the feet. And that is not going to change in this fight. The only thing, obviously Ray Saruya, he's undefeated, but he's really not good on the feet, in my opinion. I think he leaves a lot of openings. He really risks a lot on the feet just to get in close, to be able to grab somebody, get a hold of them so he can take them down. And once he has you down, that's where he does his best work. I mean, he is so dangerous. So dangerous once he gets his opponent down, because he's always looking to unleash ground and pound and try to finish the fight. So you got to give him credit there. But Josh Van is so seasoned for somebody his age. He's 23, like Lucas mentioned, and he's seen it all already, I feel like. And he's been in scenarios where he's had to defend takedowns for an entire round. And maybe he hasn't had that much success in the past, but he's worked on it, and he's gotten better in that department. I think, yeah. The one thing I worry about on the Saruya side as well is not only is he not a great striker, so if Van is able to keep this standing, he'll have a huge advantage. So there's that. But then also Saruya's cardio, man. I've seen moments in some of his decision wins where he's looked a little slow in the second and third round, and Josh Van only gets better as the fight goes on. That's what I love about him most. He's a battery, man. He's just in there just charging up as the fight goes on, and he just lets it all go in the third round if it gets there. I think he has finishing potential late, honestly. I think in this third round, we might see Josh Van just unleash some nasty body shots up against the cage when Ray Saruya starts to get tired. So I'm going to pick Josh Van by third round TKO. But I think this is one of those cases where you're always tempted to go with the undefeated guy, but you got to respect Josh Van and what he's done so far at such a young age. So I'm with you.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like, Saruya is really good, especially for his age. I mean, look at that Carlos Hernandez fight. His ground game is so fucking high level. It's just, will he be able to get Van down on a consistent basis? I don't think so. I like Van to get it done. Next one, Blades Kuniev. At first, I thought, hey, maybe we could bet Kuniev here. Blades chin, probably glass. Maybe Kuniev can land something, but I don't think so. I just think Kuniev's gonna try to push Blades against the cage. Blades is gonna be too big, and crazy. I was going from a title shot to a fucking debutant. I don't have a lot to say about this fight, man. I just think it's gonna be a very bad fight. I think it probably goes the distance. I don't know.
It's tough. I mean, Curtis Blades should win based off what I've seen and from both of them in their careers. I mean, well, I haven't obviously seen a lot of Rizwan Kuniev, but I saw a little bit of tape on him, and I mean, he's just, like I said, there's not too much to be impressed by. He's good performance on the Contender Series, I'll say. First round finish, and he looked good, and he did fight Renan Pereira, which it says overturned to no contest. I was watching some of the tape.
He was on an immense amount of steroids.
Okay. So that's a huge asterisk there. But Curtis Blades, he's only really lost to the best guys. Derek Lewis, he lost, and that was we all remember the Derek Lewis one. He absolutely dove into that uppercut. Anybody would get knocked out. Just the timing was perfect from the Black Beast. But the loss to Sergey Pavlovich, we kind of expected. The loss to Tom Aspinall in the rematch, we kind of expected. Lost to Francis Ngannou twice, kind of expected. I mean, what is there to say? He's lost to the guys that you expect him to lose to. And I expect him to win this fight, and I'm going to trust him to do so, because I don't think Kuniev has crazy knockout power, and I don't think he has the cardio, the experience to hang. So I'm gonna pick Blades. Not. I don't know. I don't know too much about Kuniev other than what I've seen in the short tape study, but I just think Curtis Blades should win this.
Yeah, I honestly, this is probably the fight I care about the least on the entire card, including the women's fight, which is crazy.
Yeah,
I'm actually kind of interested in that women's fight because I've bet on it. Yeah, I'll go Blades. I just think more talented, more experience. I don't know. I honestly don't fucking know, guys. It's crazy that I'm saying that about like a top 5 heavyweight, but I really don't know. We don't know enough about Kuniev. He fought a bum on the Contender Series. He did. Yeah, okay. Let's check this chat. FBA saying that Morono was cardio for 1 minute. Dude, we've seen him go the distance a bunch. He's just like a dead body walking around here. Right. Devil Players Pro Team. Cheers from Brazil. Shama. Shout out to you, Devil. But I'm saying no Shama. We'll get into that later. FBA saying Pereira by double spinning back elbow. No, I hope that doesn't happen because I want Petrosian to win. And I think he wins. I think he beats him up. All right, main card. We're here. Bobby Green. Who's fighting in this fight, Rohan?
Bobby King Green.
That's fine. That's his nickname, Bobby King Green, not King Green.
Bobby Green.
Fucking King.
Bobby. This is funny.
I think Rufy just starches him early, round 1, round 2. I think Bobby Green's chin is gone. I think Marcio Rufy's on steroids. I think if King Green hits Rufy when he enters, nothing's going to happen. I think Rufy's going to be too in and out for King Green to even – fuck, I said it. For Bobby Green to even hit him. And it's going to be if he does get hit, it's just going to be the battle of the chins. And we know Bobby Green's chin is just gone at this point. Rufy hits hard. Yes, he went the distance with Hamas Lontop, but that dude was just like fat and could take a punch. Bobby Green's chin is gone. Durability's gone. I think Rufy starches him early. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, it's 2025. Like I said about Morono, we can't be picking Bobby Green in 2025 especially against the likes of somebody like Mauricio Rufy. I mean, we just are about to drop a short about Rufy. Just explaining, man, like he's good. He's really good. But that whole camp, that whole Fighting Nerds camp, I just love them so much. John Silva. Wait, can I say Lord Silva? They said Lord Silva, King Green. We got a Lord and a King.
John Silva.
Lord Silva. They got Caio Barrayo, Carlos Prates, and Mauricio Rufy. I mean, he is, I guess, I don't want to say the runt of he's not, because he's got a lot of potential. I mean, he's only had 1 loss in his career. Look, man, it's like you said, it's striker. In those type of battles, you have to always side with the guy that, is a fresher, younger, more powerful, faster. Everything is better on the Rufy side. King Green is not going to look to wrestle. That's not an option for him. So it's going to be the dream fight for Mauricio Rufy, I think. And I think he gets it done by knockout as well. Yes.
Sorry. Just munching on some Dunkin'. Yeah, I think this is a great matchup for Rufy. I think he sparks him. As we were talking about, he's literally like orthodox Conor McGregor in a way. That's just Brazilian. I mean, he's such a similar style, that karate style, in and out. Mm-hmm. Look at that fucking Jamie Malarkey fight. I mean, he literally looked identical to McGregor. It was crazy. Yeah. And then because of that fight, his like finish prop got lined super high against Lontop, but we just know Malarkey has no chin. I kind of fell for that bait myself. I thought Rufy was like, okay, he can knock out anybody. But this fight, I mean, at this point, Bobby Green's got a Malarkey chin, so I think the same thing happens. Anything else?
Yeah, no, not too much else to say. I think he's just gonna make this look easy. I think Bobby Green. Like we remember the Jalen Turner knockout like it was yesterday because of just how brutal that was and how we instantly were like, yo, this is taking years off of his life. I mean, this is bad. Like, oh man, that was so bad. And then obviously the win against Jim Miller, but it's Jim Miller again, another fighter that you cannot, be picking in big year 2025, but lost to Pimblett easily. 1 round, and most of his losses recently have been in 1 or 2 rounds. I mean, the Islam 1 round, Drew Dober round 2, Jalen Turner round 1, Paddy Pimblett round 1. So yeah, I think round 1. If you're gonna bet this fight, Rufy round 1 knockout, I think that's very live.
Yeah, the under 1.5, I guess, plus 150. Or
yeah, that too. Oh my god, that's a great price for that.
Or Rufy 1-2. I don't know if the
Yeah.
line's out yet on
Any
DraftKings.
early finish that you can get, just
If you
great.
can get Roofy 1-2 on DraftKings, I like that. Let me see. Actually, oh, they just dropped it today. Let me see. Roofy 1-2 is plus 100. I'll take it. Why not? I'll bite. Yeah, I like Roofy to knock out King Green in the spot, and I fucking did it again. Jesus Christ. You're right. Looking at the name, it makes you want to say it. FBA saying big difference between Malarkey and Bobby Green. I mean, in skill, yes, but in chin, no. And all you have to do is just hit the guy in the chin once, right? So
Yeah, I mean, okay, let me show a little respect to Bobby Green, because on the feet, like Jalen Turner, the power is crazy. But he didn't look bad against Jim. Like, he actually did look good on the feet against Jim Miller. But it's Jim Miller. It's Jim Miller. So how much are how much weight do you hold that win with? Not a lot for me. And this is a huge step up from even Patty Pimblett in his last fight. I think it's a big step up, at least on the feet. I mean, Patty Pimblett is not clean on the feet whatsoever. Mauricio Hoofy is very technical. He's able to find the chin from all sorts of angles. He can fight going forward and backwards. I just think there's too many ways for him to find the chin of Bobby Green. So yeah, I think it's gonna be light work.
yeah, I agree.
He's had a long career, Bobby. He's had a long career, man. Look at how many fights that. Damn, how many fights is that?
49.
9 fights. God damn, that's a lot of fights.
Yeah. Okay, next fight on the card: Amanda Lemos, Yasmin Lucindo. I like Lemos here. I think as an underdog. I mean, she lost to Jandaroba, who is very good on the ground. Her jiu-jitsu is really good. Her wrestling is really strong. I don't really hold a lot of weight on that loss. She beat Mackenzie Dern, looked good in that one. She lost to Wei Li Zhang, the champ. No shame in that. Had a finish against Marina Rodriguez, finished Michelle Watterson. And then I had a few other ups and downs in her career before that, like that Andrade choke, which was just really fucking weird. Here's the thing. I know Lucindo is 23, and that's why she's a slight favorite here, is just because, she's really good right now. She's only improving. Yes, she beat Marina Rodriguez in her last fight, but that was like a really, really close fight. A really close fight. And honestly, she didn't look like she had improved. I honestly thought that she looked better in her debut than against Marina Rodriguez, which sounds crazy. Beat Kowakovic, like she's outside of this fight against Marina Rodriguez, who's known to have no takedown defense. She just hasn't, like, I don't know. I just think this is a big step up. This is someone in Lemos who can submit you, who's got good takedown defense, who's good everywhere. Yes, she's 37, but like she's been competing at a high level at that age for a few years now. I don't get the line. Lucindo hasn't really improved to me at all. She went life and death. She's supposed to be this wrestler, right? She went life and death with somebody in Marina Rodriguez who has no takedown defense, no ground game. I don't like that against Lemos, who has a lot of experience. I like Lemos at plus money here.
Man, I don't want to agree too much, but man, that I really struggle to see why. Yeah, the line is what it is, and this I'm just gonna read straight off my notes. I'm just gonna read what I wrote down. Amanda, like, look, we know about the power, we know about, but no, this is what I wrote down, and this is why. Look, Yasmin's only been knocked out. What? No, she's never been knocked out. She's never been knocked out. Amanda only knocked out once. But it's a combined one time in since like 2017. These ladies have been knocked out. Combined. And I just think, yeah, they're disrespecting Amanda Lemos a bit here. She's only lost to the best, really, Wei Li. There's no shame in that. And then Virna Jandiroba is a good fighter. She's a really good fighter. But I've seen her drop somebody with a jab. That's what I wrote down. I saw her drop somebody with a jab. She's still technical on the feet. I think she's a lot more technical than Yasmin. I watched Yasmin's fight against, another Yasmin Waregi, right? That's her only loss, right? Against Yasmin Waregi. Yeah. 2022, long time ago now. But if you watch that fight back, she was swinging some absolutely insane punches, just like this, just swinging like crazy. I was like, what is going on right now? That was, you can't do that against somebody who has as much experience as Amanda Lemos, in my opinion. And again, like you said, I don't really see too much to much major improvement in her game since then. Like she's beat Karolina Kowalkiewicz, very old at this point. Like you should be winning that fight. Poliana Viana, whatever. Brogan Walker, get out of here with that. And then Marina Rodriguez, I've always been high on her, but again, she's what now, 37, been through a lot of wars. Jessica Andrade coming off a fight with her. She's always going to these long, grueling decisions. There's no surprise that she lost that one, and it was a split decision. I think Lemos has fought the much better competition, honestly. I just think it really comes down to that. She's cleaner on the feet, and yeah, I think she can stuff takedowns here. If Lucinda is going to try to go that route, I think she can easily stuff takedowns. Yeah, I'm with you, honestly. I'm on the underdog here. I'm not surprised that you picked her because I was leaning that way just watching the tape. I'm not too impressed with what I've seen from Yasmin. Not that, again, 23 and she is very young and she has a crazy chin, which is why I could see this one being a war of attrition decision. But still, in that, I think Amanda might do the more damage. So I'm going to pick her.
Yeah, I'm fine with this going the distance. 100%.
Yeah,
it's just she's just a little too sloppy for me everywhere. And I just don't think she's that good. I think that this should still be.
I think the line is more of a bet on like Amanda's decline, I think, than Yasmin.
But it is shown that I guess that Jandiroba.
It's only against, and again, there's not really any shame in losing to Virna Jandiroba, especially by unanimous decision. She's known for getting you down.
She got subbed her. She subbed her.
Oh, did she? Oh yeah. I'm looking at the wrong one. Yeah. Again, I'm looking at Marina. I'm looking at Marina Rodriguez's Tapology for some reason. No, I agree. I just think she's a lot cleaner everywhere, and yeah, they're disrespecting her a little bit with that line. So that's a nice underdog pick there.
Yeah, I really like Lemos here. Yeah. Let's move on. Next fight. What do we got? I feel like
fight of the night, baby. Fight of the night.
That's the longest we've talked about a fight on the whole card. It's the only women's fight.
Hey, it's a solid fight.
No, it is. I'm honestly looking forward to that fight more than the Blades fight.
Yeah.
That's a joke. Yeah, okay. Jalen Turner, Ignacio Bahamondes. I thought this fight was gonna be off because like Dana White flew out Tom Nolan on a private jet, and that's what everyone on Twitter was saying, but I guess not. I'm really confused. I don't know. This is a really, really tough fight to call. I don't know. I want you to go first. Convince me. I really don't know.
Oh man. I don't know if I can convince you, but I'm a big Ignacio fan. I've always been a big Ignacio fan since his days on the Contender Series where he was front kicking dudes in the face, spinning back kicking dudes in the face, man. Like he's just such a fun fighter to watch. But you can say the same about Jalen Turner because that power of his, he literally hits like a Mack truck. 6'4", Jalen Turner, but Bahamondes is 6'5". Like I think this is a very, very tough stylistic matchup for both guys. It's very close to a pick'em, and for good reason. They're both so hittable. Jalen is so hittable. Ignacio, though, that's the thing about Ignacio is I've always said, like, if he cleaned up the striking defense and had a little bit of head movement, he would be so good. And takedown defense, that's the other thing. Just a little better takedown defense, and he would be a stud. But those are the areas that he still had to improve. And now, I mean, at this point, he's not even that young anymore. I'm actually, I forgot how old is he. I'm
so talking about Bahamondes?
Yeah, Bahamondes, how old? 27. Okay, yeah, so that's young enough. But I thought like by this time he would be, a staple in the rankings. Like I had really high expectations for him, but he had a few setbacks. Like I think he lost to Trey Ogden. That was a bad loss, and he's lost. He's been in a lot of wars. But same with Jalen Turner, man. Though he lost against.
Didn't he beat Trey Ogden?
Yeah, did he? He did. Who did he lose to? He had a bad loss, man.
Ludovic Klein.
Ludovic Klein. Sorry, I'm confusing the old white guys, but yeah, Ludovic Klein. That was a bad.
Old. Yo, why are you age? Bro, Ludovic Klein's like 28.
Listen, he should have won that fight. Is my.
They do look a lot like that. Ludovic Klein and Trey Ogden, like look.
Yeah, no, but still, he had a war with Yagos for as long as it lasted, or not Yagos, Manuel Torres for as long as it lasted. No, he's been looking good, man. He's been looking good. I'm hating a little bit. John McDessie, that was another one. Yeah, that John McDessie lost. But he's been in the UFC for so long now, 2020. He's had
You
a
gotta
lot
think
of
he's
time.
improved since that
No,
fight.
that's what I'm saying. I was just about to say you gotta think that like he's had a lot of time to get better at the things that he was having holes in his game earlier. You could see the deficiencies. But on the Jalen Turner side, man, the thing why I'm picking Bahamondes in this fight, the reason why is because while he is like powerful as it gets for the division, I think he waits a little too much and to land that one shot. He's not going to be the minute winner in this fight. I think Bahamondes will probably be the minute winner just based on the output, the volume, and the kicking game. Like he has such beautiful kicks, so many, so many. He can take that kick to the legs, to the body. He can take it to the head, and it like this. Like he is very, very fast with those kicks. And Jalen, I just think he gets stuck a lot of the times. Like he'll have a good sequence where he's coming forward, landing a few shots, and then he just stops his momentum by himself. And I think like you got to be putting pressure on Bahamondes for a lot of the time if you're going to beat him, because that's what he doesn't do the best is he doesn't fight the best on the back foot. He's really tall and lanky, so you understand that, but he just got to clean up the head movement. I think he's getting better. And this fight, man, is going to be a striker's delight. There's not going to be any takedown attempts. It's just going to be brutal striking on the feet. And I think Bahamondes just has more ways to hurt Jalen Turner than Jalen Turner does, because he's really only relying on that big right hand of his. And he lands it. He hurts people with it a lot. He should have fucking finished Renato Moicano, but he decided I don't know what he decided. The Dan Hooker fight, he was looking really good until Dan Hooker came on late. Like he does really well early in fights, but then I worry about him as it goes on. So I think Bahamondes has enough advantages to win this one, but it's so tough, man. I can see it going either way. I'm also biased.
Usually you're able to convince me with these. First of all, let me say that this is a very close fight. Very close fight. But usually you're able to convince me when I let you go first, but I don't think you've convinced me here. I don't think you've convinced me. And the one thing you haven't mentioned is, this is a huge step up in competition for Bahamondes. Huge. Like huge. Bahamondes hasn't fought anybody near the caliber of Jalen Turner. Anybody.
Yeah, you're right.
From Manuel Torres, who's like round one or bust, to Jalen Turner, who's really fucking good, who's fighting, Gamrot, who's fighting Dan Hooker, who's fighting Moicano, who's fighting Bobby Green, who's fighting Brad Riddell. Brad Riddell, I don't really know about, but this guy's last 4 fights are against the best of the best. I think I'm gonna go Turner, man. I think all the finishing potential, especially early, is on the Turner side. And we saw in that Ludovic Klein fight that Bahamondes just doesn't wear the damage well. Like he got hurt and then kind of just like looked like shit for the rest of the fight. I think Turner's a really, really talented fighter. That's something you can't take away from him. Crazy how these guys have the exact same tail of the tape as well. 6'3" with a 75.5-inch reach. So it's going to be interesting. I just feel like it's going to come down to who's more talented. The one thing that concerns me is the cardio of Jalen Turner. It is a concern. After he didn't go for the finish in round 1 against Moicano, he just like died, which was really weird. But I thought he beat Gamrot. I really do feel like he beat Gamrot in that fight. Went to a split with Hooker, beat the shit out of him. Hooker didn't die, and then Hooker came back. Here's the thing. I think it's going to look a lot like that Dan Hooker fight, and Turner's going to have big success early. It's just the difference between Hooker and Bahamondes is Hooker can fucking push through and bring you into a war. I just don't think we've seen that from Bahamondes yet. Finished Torres, I was never high on. I had a big bet on Bahamondes there. I wasn't high on Torres. Finished Giagos. I don't think Giagos is that good either. Lost to Klein. Beat Trey Ogden. Like, who has he really beat that is this caliber? Not like Turner's resume. It's night and day here. Turner, man, it's tough, but I think I'm gonna go Jalen Turner. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go Turner. Just more experience and just more talented. The cardio is gonna be a concern though. Like if this gets,
but why? But can I ask you, like, what about Jalen Turner? Like, why is he more talented? I don't think he's more talented.
He 100% is my opinion. This guy hands crisp as hell, kicks crisp as hell. Not only that,
his kicking game is or the variety.
His hands, I think his hands are much better. They both have great kicks, but bro, Turner's really good on the ground as well.
That's the thing. That's what. Okay, that's where I.
He's had
But
some
when's the
nice
last time Jalen
submissions.
Turner even went to the ground? Like I
In my
remember.
opinion, Turner is one of the most talented fighters, not just in lightweight division, in the entire UFC. It's all in the head with him.
I don't know. I think even Bahamundes has like a crazy. Yeah, he had a fucking Bravo choke on Rongju. Like this thing, yo, Bahamundes is very talented as well. He's
I
talented.
mean, that's Rongju. Like Jalen Turner
Rongju is. Did you see Rongju's last fight? Rongju is good, man.
okay, bro. Like
He's
I
like
don't want to
only
do MMA math here, but like
No, I'm not doing. I don't want to get to MMA math. But
Rongju is also like 20 years old at the time of that fight. Bro.
True. But again, that's a nasty choke to pull off. I mean,
Like, bro, he was finishing the likes. Turner was finishing the likes of Kulabau, like when he was what, like 22? No, like 25.
Okay. Both of them were highly touted, but I mean, at this stage, are we even? I mean, do you think Jalen Turner has like future? You know, what do you think his ceiling is?
He needs to first of all get with a fucking camp, like a legit.
Yeah.
He can't be training at Ruka, and he needs to fucking go somewhere that will just be chain wrestling the shit out of him and get his cardio right. I think if he does that, then it's good. But in this matchup specifically, I think he can win it. I just don't think like that Klein fight with Bahamundes really scared me.
That's at least a bad taste in my mouth, but I still think like he looked a lot. Well, Klein is a weird fighter. Like it's a different style completely. I just think that this one, they both kind of. I feel like there's gonna be a silent, pact that they make in the beginning. It's like no grappling, we're gonna strike, and I feel like in that environment, they're both just as dangerous as one another, but for different reasons. Because Jalen Turner, I think, is the more powerful guy, and yes, Bahamundes has the tendency to get hurt and not wear it too well. But Turner I think he leaves. I think Turner leaves a lot more openings on the feet at certain times. Barcelona are playing like, bro, they have a red card they're just, oh my god, this is terrible. But I think I'm letting the bias get in my way here, because I also am a big fan of Jalen Turner, but I love Bahamundes, and I've always thought like he can be like a real threat. But I don't know, that loss against Klein is such a bad loss to look back on. But I think they can match each other in the talent department. And yes, later down the stretch, I do think that I've seen Bahamundes, like, other than the Klein fight where, like he didn't look too good, I think he can do a little more work down the stretch. Jalen Turner really doesn't look great in the round threes. That's where Dan.
I think it depends on how badly Turner hurts him early.
Yeah, they're gonna hurt each other. They're gonna hurt each other.
A live bet spot. Simple as that. This might be a live bet spot.
Looks good.
But I'll go Turner. He'll go Bahamundes for now. Very, very close fight. Let's say that. Let's move on. Co-main event, 2 fights left. Justin Gaethje versus Rafael Fiziev. Honestly, this is one that I'm gonna surprisingly be quicker on. I like Fiziev. I bet Fiziev. That first fight, I thought he won. Not clearly, but I thought he won 2 rounds to 1. Yes, he's taking this fight on short notice. Yes, he hasn't fought in almost 2 years. Yes, he's coming off an ACL tear. But what's worse, that ACL tear and ring rust, or that absolutely vicious knockout? And now you're 36 years old. I'm gonna go Fiziev. I thought he won that first fight. Now he probably has gotten even better. You got to think he's gonna watch the cardio, and I think he's gonna hurt Gaethje, man. Gaethje, I'm just concerned. He's been in so many wars. He's now 36, coming off of a vicious knockout. I'm concerned for the chin. I think Fiziev has all the opportunities, all the finishing potentials on the Fiziev side, to be completely honest. I just feel it's just better circumstances for Fiziev. This could be a great fight, but I think Fiziev gets it done. I'm worried about Gaethje here. And I just don't understand. I mean, I sniped Fiziev earlier in the week, and now he's up to minus 160, minus 170, which is crazy. But I get it. I get it, because a lot of people thought he won that last fight. And now one fighter is probably declining and the other one's getting better. Give me Fiziev.
Yeah, that first fight was a banger. This one is going to be a banger for as long as it lasts. But in rematches, usually I feel like the second time around there's a finish. There's usually a finish in the rematches the second time around, and I just think if anybody's to be finished in this fight, it's more than likely Justin Gaethje, because, like you said, been in so many wars, just absolute wars. And the only question I really have on the Fiziev side, because yes, he arguably won that first fight, and he is younger and improving, but he went through a real bad knee injury. But he's taken a lot of time off, which is good. I only wonder, not ring rest, but is the cardio the same? Because I think if in the Gaethje fight, he did really well. It was a really close fight for all 3 rounds, but I think he did a lot better work early than late. And that's the only thing is that I still know that if anything of Justin Gaethje's is intact, it's the cardio. He'll never lose that because of where he trains, how hard he trains. It's the chin is the biggest question, and I just think for him to be able to survive probably a better version of Rafael Fiziev this time around, if he was willing to jump on it like that, he must have been confident in himself and what he's been doing to get back to where he was. And yeah, man, I think it's a tough spot for Justin Gaethje. I think it's just like, I don't want to see him get knocked out again. I hope this is another awesome, decision. But I just think if anybody is to be finished, it's Justin Gaethje. And for that alone, all the finishing potential, I think you got to side with Fiziev. You're muted.
I agree. I mean, there's not a lot to say because we already saw this fight before, man. We saw how it played out. Mm-hmm. Yes, Fiziev slowed down as the fight went on, and yes, that might be a concern. But, I was listening to a podcast earlier. I forgot which one, but somebody said that maybe that ACL tear was low-key a good thing for Fiziev because, the guy goes for a lot of big movement strikes, like those big kicks, those big leans. You got to think that now he's going to be more conscious. If he can just stay technical, and just be smart, he'll be able to technically beat the shit out of Gaethje. And I think he'll win this fight clear, either by finish or decision. I like Rafael Fiziev here, and I like his money line. I honestly think you could still play it, maybe till like minus 170, minus 175.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like maybe it's getting out of reach. But yeah.
Do you remember the line the first time around? Because I was on him the first time around too. I thought he would beat Gaethje just based on the fact that he was a more technical guy.
I can check.
I think.
Yeah. Wow, Fiziev was a big favorite, minus 245.
Wow. So yeah.
I bet Gaethje in that fight too. Actually, I bet him.
I was on Fiziev.
You were on Fiziev in that fight?
Yeah. I just thought
you bet on him at minus.
No, I didn't bet him. I didn't bet him. I was just like predicting that he would win, but I didn't touch that. I thought it had crazy potential, but no, I just thought he would be the more technical guy and have the cleaner strike. So I was like, okay, it makes more sense to side with him. But Gaethje, it's just he's built for those wars where. But it's how at some point, right? At some point, something's got to give. It feels, but we'll see. It's gonna be a fun fight.
I agree. I bet Gaethje there in that first fight, and I thought Fiziev won. I was surprised. Yeah. All right, main event time. Oh man. Alex Pereira, Magomed Ankalaev, the man that will save the sport of MMA is Magomed Ankalaev when he defeats Alex Pereira Saturday, UFC 313. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why right now. Ankalaev, he is an incredible striker. Let me start by that. And I know this narrative people are running with on Twitter is, he doesn't even wrestle. But that's because he's also an insanely good striker. I mean, this guy's boxing is so fucking crisp raw. Here's the thing with Pereira. We haven't seen him get wrestled by anybody at all, besides Jan Blachowicz. And in that fight against Jan Blachowicz, I know he won, but I'm going to use it because it seemed like he got wrestled and all that power went away. Blachowicz was death gas, but he was still able to come forward and eat shots from Pereira. Now you have a guy in Ankalaev who's got great cardio, great boxing. Bro, he's going to be wrestling him, and then he's going to start faking the shots. He's going to come over, and he's going to start hurting Pereira. And Pereira's going to be tired, and he's not going to have a lot of that power. I honestly think this is going to be not that close of a fight. Honestly, I genuinely believe that. I genuinely believe that Pereira has had easy matchups before this fight. This is a big matchup change. Ankalaev is legit. He is really good. He knows what needs to be done. I know there's this whole Ramadan thing going on. I don't want to get into it. I'm looking at this from a stylistic standpoint only. That Blachowicz fight with Pereira really scares me. I think you can't improve your wrestling that much in such a short period of time. It was only 2 years ago we saw him getting thrown around by Israel Adesanya at 185. We saw him get taken down multiple times. Whenever Blachowicz wanted a takedown, he got the takedown. Maybe one or two were stuffed, but he was able to control him on the ground. Ankalaev's a better wrestler than Blachowicz, in my opinion, Rohan, and has better cardio and has better boxing. And I thought Ankalaev won that first fight against I thought he won that fight against Blachowicz. They scored it a draw. I feel like everyone scored it for Ankalaev. I think that, Pereira's going to get tired. Ankalaev's going to wrestle early. Pereira's going to get tired. I know people are like, oh, but what about the leg kicks? It's different, man. It's different. Blachowicz, Pereira, they have different styles. You know, Ankalaev, he was there. He was in front of Blachowicz, and Blachowicz was able to just leg kick. I feel like Ankalaev's going to be more in and out here. He's also a southpaw. I feel like Pereira's going to be going for that lead leg kick a lot, like he does, like he did against Sean Strickland. Did that a lot. Or no, I think I'm thinking about something else. That's besides the point. I think that Ankalaev's going to be in and out. I don't think Pereira's going to be able to leg kick. And when he does, I think Ankalaev knows that, yeah, I have this weakness. I might have to check. And I think the way Ankalaev will mix the martial arts, I think Pereira will get tired with the pace, with the cardio, with the wrestling. And honestly, can Ankalaev finish this fight? I don't know. Either late finish or decision. Ankalaev, I like him to win this fight, and I'm pretty confident.
Yeah. I still like the reason it's a pick 'em is just because of that left hand, and that's all that needs to really be said about the Alex side of things, because he's not as a fighter in general, like he just has so many more deficiencies than Magomed Ankalaev, and that's the thing. Like people hate to watch him, and I understand it. The style, it can be a little boring at times, but it's not like he's shown to be, have any holes in his game. Like you said, I mean, the striking is so clean. And I remember as long ago as like 2020 when he fought Iwan Kutalaba. This is a bad example of, matchup, but I mean, he put it on him, and it was more on the feet, and then he took him down and started doing it on the ground, but he finished him, by TKO. It was a bad win, but he's done that pretty much, consistently. And obviously I even thought like the Jan decision was a bad one. I thought that, whatever, but he's beaten everybody that he's supposed to be beating. I mean, he's doing it pretty easily. He beat Rakic so easily. He beat Johnny Walker so easily. Anthony Smith beat him so easily. I mean, these are the guys that you have to be beating. And the thing about Alex is the guys he's beating recently, Jan aside, which is why Jan fight went to split decision. Everybody else, and Izzy, obviously, he's had his history with Izzy. We all know the history with Izzy. But those two guys are way more heady in the cage. They're way more calculated than the likes of Yuri Prohaska, Jamal Hill, Yuri Prohaska again, Khalil Roundtree, who are his last 4 wins. And that is what has turned him into the star, because even when he fought Jan Blachowicz, we were like, oh, there's still a lot of questions. And he struggled. It was a split decision. I thought he won just based on damage, but it was a close fight. And he could have. Oh, my fucking God. What a goal. What a goal. I'm sorry. That was insane. But listen. I just think in this situation, he's going to fight somebody that actually knows what he's doing in there. Yuri and Jamal, they take insane amount of risk, and that's why when they fight each other, you get the result that you get. 2 heavyweights just freaking colliding, and somebody's gonna fall. But Alex knows how to capitalize on that because he's the cleanest striker in the UFC. Maybe Ankalaev is not going to give him those opportunities on the feet. He will make it a boring fight on the feet.
Whoa. I don't think Pereira is the cleanest striker. I think
exaggeration.
He is crazy.
The cleanest striker in that division, though. So I'll give him that.
I still don't even. I think you could argue that when you're talking about how clean he is, dude, I think he's a fucking mess. He's not. He's just has insane power.
No, but I mean, what he did against Khalil Roundtree, the sliding in and out, and then catching him. I mean, that was beautiful. What are you talking about?
That was just pure power, man. And Roundtree being dead.
The head movement combined with the power. We saw the whole package in that fight, and that was an impressive performance. Again,
Roundtree was
competition. And no, I'm not. Okay, look, no,
I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go on your prediction.
Oh, and I have to say this. I have to mention this. You've been against Alex in almost like everyone. You were against him in Jamal Hill fight. And I don't know, somehow, I don't even know if you convinced me. I don't think you did, but you were against him against Jamal Hill.
I did convince you. Stop.
You were against him all the time. You're always picking against him. And this is the only time that I can see, and you laid it out perfectly. Your breakdown was phenomenal. Like, he and the overhand rights, like, Magomed is a smart guy, and that's the problem here. He's not going to embrace a firefight where he's just putting his chin out there. Like Sean Strickland is one of the dumbest fighters, man. Like he just fights with his chin up and raises his knee sometimes to create separation. Yuri and Jamal are begging to be knocked out. Same thing with Khalil Roundtree, who actually didn't until late. I just don't think Ankalaev is like that. And obviously, you have to worry about the wrestling and how that wears on you in a 5-round fight, not a 3-round fight. Because we also saw him struggle with Jan in a 3-round wrestling match or in a 3-round wrestling exchange. This is a 5-round wrestling exchange. Like, how is he going to hold up against an actual Dagestani wrestler? Like, this is the biggest test of his career. I mean, that goes without saying. But if he does this, like, honestly, he's in some dangerous conversations if he beats Magomed, in my opinion, because that's the level of prospect that we're dealing with. And that's not to say that, I'm a fan of his, because I'm not. I just think he has the perfect style to be able to beat somebody like Alex Pereira. And it's all about, can he not get knocked out? Because at the same time, it's like, can you not get knocked out for 5 rounds? Can you stay away from that left hand for 5 rounds? But I think he can do that, because if he gets Alex Pereira down, Lucas, can you see Alex getting back up when Magomed gets him
he's
down?
going to take him down, and he's not getting up.
He's not getting up.
If he does get up, it's going to take a lot of energy, and it's going to exhaust him.
And that exactly later in the fight, round 3, round 4, round 5.
And also at his gym, he's training with nobody like Ankalaev.
Nobody. Yeah, and I've seen all the clips, and you want to believe what you're seeing about all the beautiful, takedown defense that you're seeing. But it's like, who is he doing this against? His guys that are, training with him on the daily, and he's seeing them and knowing them on the daily.
Dylan Dennis.
Exactly. Dylan Dennis. Oh my God. But this is somebody that is born and bred out of that. Like, he knows exactly how to manage himself in a fight. He has such a well-rounded game. And I mean, it's just gonna come down to that left hand, and I want that left hand to land. But as far as predicting the fight and picking a winner and being confident, I'm not betting on this fight. By the way, I will say I am not betting on this fight at all.
I am.
Yeah, respect to you, bro. But I think I want Alex to land that left hand, but it's just, I don't see him defending the takedowns for 5 rounds. I just don't see him. And I don't see him getting back up. Is the other thing. Like, Magomed knows, and he's saying all this bullshit in the media, like, oh, I'm going to strike with him, but I know the weakness is the wrestling. So that's one of the keys to the match. It's like, he's kind of just playing both sides.
He's going to wrestle.
Exactly. You know exactly what he's going to do, because this is a championship fight. It's the fight of his life. He has to win it, and he's going to win it. Probably.
He's gonna save the sport of MMA. I don't give a fuck. If you want to watch
kickboxing, why do you keep saying that as if
he's gonna save MMA? I don't give a fuck. You go watch kickboxing if you like Pereira. Go watch. There's a whole new sport.
Oh, you mean
I like the mix of the martial arts. I like the fucking wrestling, that real inbred shit.
Okay.
Ankalaev will save the sport of MMA. I don't give a fuck if I'm on a boat on a fucking island.
I was gonna say you're on an island.
He is going to save the sport of MMA, and everybody being dead silent as Ankalaev beats the shit out of this dude. And I'm there in person. It's gonna hit like fucking drugs. Ankalaev and New.
You're gonna be cheering in that stadium. Everybody's gonna be like,
I'm gonna be so fucking. I want him to win so bad. He's gonna save the sport of MMA. I'm telling you. I hate Pereira. It's mainly, I don't even hate Pereira. I just hate his fans, bro. Oh my god, they're the worst.
I'm an Israel Adesanya fan, and even I've been converted to being a Pereira fan, because how can you not love the guy? He's the best, man. But at the same time, this is
well, okay, Rohan. The fuck you talk? Are you going with the Freemason or the Muslim? I'm going with the Muslim all day.
No. Again, I'm.
It's a cult versus fucking Allah, bro. Allah will lead Ankalaev to victory. Don't ask.
All right, bro. You said it. Allah praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. That's
not a joke. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. He's gonna win. Allah understands that Ankalaev had to break his fast. Allah understands Ankalaev is an incredible Muslim. He's gonna, break his fast. Is gonna be his only sin outside of fighting, which is an obvious sin. But this is, breaking your fast during Ramadan is a major sin. But Allah is gonna understand that this will change Ankalaev's life. And Ankalaev's going to go out there. He's going to be victorious, and he's going to dominate Alex Pereira and New. Save the sport of MMA. If you like Pereira, go watch fucking kickboxing. I don't give a fuck. That's all we got today, folks. Rohan, any final words?
The left hand of God is going to... No, I'm not. Enjoy the card, my brother. You're going to be there. I wish I could go with you. Too much money. But listen.
That's not why. Don't lie.
Listen.
That's not why.
I do think that this card has got violence written all over it. Even Magomed Ankalaev has, finished potential on this card. Gaethje and Fiziev is going to be a banger. Jalen Turner, when Ignacio Bahamondes, gentlemen's bet, $10 on the line. Jalen and Ignacio?
No. Actually, yeah, no.
Listen.
Okay, if you get $10 on the Castaneda Gutierrez, I'll do that as well. $10 on both of them. That's the other one we just.
I feel like
both. That's what I'm saying. I'm really on the other one, so we got to do it. It's only right. 10
right,
and 10 on both. All right, there we go.
All right. But it's gonna be a fun fight. Enjoy, everybody. Stay tuned for more Instagram, Discord, all that content throughout the week. And yeah, man, one love. Be good. Enjoy the fights. And I'll see you soon, bro. Can't wait.
Couldn't have said it better. Everything Counterpunch is in the description of this video. If you want to get our bets, go sign up. It's going to be the best decision you've ever made in your life. This is going to be one of our biggest betting cards ever. I know I say it a lot, but I keep understanding the sport of MMA even more, and I have probably the most money I've ever had on money lines ever in my life. That's all we got for you guys today. Everything Counterpunch. Just click the description of this video. But for now, it's been Lucas and Rohan, and we're signing off.